ceiling. Well, I'm gonna need a higher 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 ceiling.
All right, welcome to Miller and Dricksy's pod, baby. This is number 5. Mambo number 5.
Do you know what else is number 5?
What?
Cinco de Mayo.
It's not May yet.
No, but I'm just saying.
Getting prepared for it.
I eat tacos every month, so it doesn't matter.
That's how we're gonna start. Is talking about tacos. That's gonna get the people going.
That's my golf diet.
Let's do an hour of just taco talk. We are solo dolo today, baby.
Yep. We got asked for people to come on, and we were like, nah, we just want to solo ride this one.
Yeah, we're gonna do solo dolo today because it is well Masters recap pod after the Masters this weekend. You know, when you can 4-putt to win by 3, it's a pretty good day. I'm going to use that as my mantra in anything. So I'll tell you this. You know me, I'm an avid cribbage player.
Yep.
Okay. In the winter, I try to play cribbage every day. I almost played cribbage every day this winter. Okay.
Wow. Do you play on your phone or just with actual people?
No, I play at actual, there's 6 of us that go
club?
and play. Yeah. I think the average age is, I bring
80?
down the average, and the average age is probably 70 something. I'm bringing the average down.
Perfect.
So my team was up, I think 8-1, which in cribbage you have, when you win a game, it's 1 point. If you skunk them, it's 2. If you double skunk, it's 3, whatever. We're up 8-1. And another hour goes by before we have to leave. And we lost 2 in a row by skunks. So they gained 4 more.
Oh,
but we still won the total. And that's exactly what I said. It's kind of like 4-putting the Masters and still winning by 3. You know what I mean? We still.
Did he win by 3?
He did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was at 10 and Rory was at 7.
That's right.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
He's won 4 of his last 6 events.
Which is just unfathomable.
I think he's the first since Tiger to do it. Win 4 of his last 6.
I mean, I knew the kid was good.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was that good.
I don't think a lot of people did. I think he got a lot of flack for his Ryder Cup pick, and that's kind of where everything started. And he got a little chip on his shoulder.
When he just torched Rahm and...
he
torched him, but he
beat him
he
did his
good.
business, for sure. He has an unconventional swing, which I like to watch because I have an unconventional swing.
But it's not really that unconventional because his weight goes forward.
But I understand that.
Yeah.
But his back foot slides out.
Front foot.
His front foot slides out?
Yeah, they both move a ton.
There you go.
So
he's my doppelganger.
He's just got a lot of foot movement, which more and more guys on tour are doing.
Yeah.
Because they create so much club head speed.
Well, that makes sense. Why I hit it a mile.
Yeah.
And then almost fall over.
But it was just a somber weekend for watching the Masters for me.
Yeah.
Once Tiger kind of threw in the I don't know if he threw in the towel or he just could not make a putt.
The wind came out of the sails, my friend. But he made it all 4 rounds.
He made the cut. And he was playing, actually, he was in it.
Yeah.
To go into the weekend. Mm-hmm. And then the infamous bogey number 1 came out, and then it was all downhill.
You could tell he
didn't birdie 2, and then he gets into that stretch of holes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
That are just meat grinder.
But you could tell that that leg had to be swelling up on him for sure. I mean, it looked like it was getting heavier.
Yep,
the leg was getting heavier. The limp was coming. Yep. That's a hard course to walk too. I mean, when you watch it on TV, and everybody says this, you watch it on TV, you don't understand how undulated it truly is.
Well, the elevation changes.
Oh, it's just crazy.
100 feet in some spots.
Yeah.
So 70 to 100 feet, yeah.
All in all, it was a good tournament to watch. I wish it would have been a little bit more exciting.
More drama at the end.
Yeah, more drama. I mean, there was a little drama on 12 when Cam Smith went in the water.
And that's not drama, though.
But that was like, okay, well, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah. That's when you're just like, well, this is over with. Let's watch 8 holes.
Early in the round, there was drama because it was like Rory was coming. Scotty still had a ton of golf to play.
Mm-hmm.
We knew he was pretty much unflappable.
Yeah.
But then the putt at 18 was like, holy shit, this could have been close.
Oh yeah.
If some other things, if Cam would have put pressure on him and not fell apart, it would have been a way different outcome. I mean, it could have been a different outcome.
Do you think it was that he knew he had shots to work with, so every single putt was just aggressive?
Who?
That he hit? Scotty.
No. Oh, on the 18th?
Yeah.
I just think his nerves finally caught up to him. He's standing on the 18th. He's got a
5-shot
birdie putt.
Yeah.
And he's got a 5-shot lead. He's like, I won the Masters. He's probably shaking internally like we've never felt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's 25 years old. I get he's won tournaments and done this and that, but that's a totally probably different feeling. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's like,
I mean,
after he hit his tee shot and he was safe, at that point you got to be like, well, so all I have to do is hit this massive green anywhere.
yeah.
I've
played in tournaments where, or match play or whatever, where you've got a putt to win or something, and it's worth nothing to me. Like the whole tournament's not worth anything, but you still, or league or whatever, and you still have nerves. Like you got to execute that shot.
I
couldn't even imagine what that's like. Like the payday, the exclusivity to what he is going to be a part of from now on. Like it's just there's a lot of
You'll
things.
always get to play in the Masters.
You're a major winner. You always get to play in the Masters. It is 100% career life changing.
Yeah.
I mean, guys that win that tournament typically go on to have some pretty good careers.
Other than Danny Willett.
Well, but he was in it too, though.
Yeah, I mean, finally. But, I mean, what did he win back in 2014?
I don't know.
I mean, he wanted to
look up his career.
Ago.
Look up his career
Let's
earnings.
Do that.
I'm sure it's got to be pretty good. I don't know.
Well, I'll look up Danny Willett right now, and we'll see what he's done since he won the Masters. This is where you're supposed to be filling time.
I mean, but like,
what was your favorite shot of the weekend? Did you have a favorite shot?
I mean, not.
He won in 2016.
The hole in one by old man. What's his name?
Stuart Sink. Yeah.
Hey, you got a hole in one.
There you go. Dunked her. Was he the only hole in one on the weekend?
What's his face got one in the par 3.
Well, Krochak. Yeah. Jason.
Kokrak.
Yep. Kokrak.
No, I liked it all. I mean, it was honestly.
I watched it front to back, and I don't think I would have if Tiger wasn't there. I mean, I always download the app every year, and then I download and I'd re-download it because it's just the easiest way to watch.
I personally felt like this year more than others, and probably because of the conditions, it looked like they were spraying the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
they were getting, and it's just crazy how they can get out of it
and up and in, and like Scheffler was in the woods and he chipped in for birdie, which could have been an easy bogey.
He got a 2 club. Well, that one, but what about he went in the woods on the 18th as well, and then he got a 2 club length drop.
Because
he made bogey.
Not on 18.
Yeah, it was on 18.
What, the third round?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That could have been a
disaster.
debacle.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have got that, he wouldn't have gotten out of there.
Because he got that drop and it actually got outside the tree line.
Correct.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, that was huge. And that would have been a big determining factor. But anyway, Danny Willett won it in 2016, and he hasn't done much since. I think he had one other.
He plays a lot on European Tour.
One other win in the European Tour in 2017. It was saying.
Either way, I
don't. Right after he won the Masters, that's when he came to the Ryder Cup at Hazelton.
Mm-hmm.
So saw him play. That's when he was playing.
Pretty
obviously
good.
very, very well.
Yeah, comes and goes, buddy.
Comes and goes.
We know that more than anyone.
Do you think Scotty's not really? He's not much of an aggressive player. Do you think that probably did him well? That he's not. He doesn't seem like he's aggressive. You know, it doesn't seem like you got some of these players that their birdies and bogeys are matching up throughout every round. You know? Scotty's very methodical.
He just, I mean, he was the best ball striker on the course. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much kept everything in play besides a few shots.
Right.
I mean, he looked really good. But I think
it's weird how he tries to hit a draw. You watch that?
What?
How Scotty tried to hit a draw?
No.
I mean, it's outrageous.
Just really handsy?
Well,
or
yeah,
what?
because he hits a fade and it works for him, but he has to like, it's almost like the club comes horizontal to his belly to try to get it to turn over.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what they were talking about the last round. He was starting to get blocky, and it was blocky in every club. You know, his putter even he was blocking putts.
Crazy.
You know, he could have easily had 4 strokes better.
Yeah.
I mean, he had 4 putts that were inside 8 feet.
Minus the 18th.
Yeah, minus 18th. But and then Max Homa tweets out, he goes, if you're going to 4 putt to win the Masters by 3, you might as well 6 putt just to say you did it. Immediately after it happened.
I'm wondering how much influence that had on any of the betting that was out there.
Oh yeah,
Like, did that all those putts did that cost someone some money? I would assume it had.
if they're playing the
Had to.
mini games. I mean, I'm guessing it's not like anything people are putting big money on, but I'm sure I know there's those apps that you can do those mini games. Like you can select, is Scotty going to make a par on 18, or you know what I mean? They have those constant
over unders for final round, for
Yeah.
total, for all of it.
Yeah, there could be either there's going to be some happy guys, and there's going to be some real sad guys.
Oh my god.
With that, you know what I mean? Would you like? Did he really just 4 putt for me to be one off?
It was never going to be an easy 2 putt,
No.
but that one he missed the comebacker, and it wasn't that far. It was 6 feet,
Not even.
and then he blew it by.
Yeah.
I was like, holy
As I was saying, he went.
crap.
That's what I was talking about earlier. He went after those putts.
Yeah.
It wasn't like try to lag it up and so you can tap it in. It was, I'm picking my line and I'm just hitting it, you know. And then finally it prevailed. But that was a pretty cool scene when he was walking arm in arm with his high school sweetheart. I wish him the best.
Yeah, he did good. It's just not the same for me. I want Tiger to win some more. I'm not done with that.
Well, they alluded to that, and when Mitch was on, we were talking about that too. Is that he wants to beat Jack, and they said that a lot during the broadcast too. Is he does, I don't think he's going to fully think that he's done until he can beat him.
Yeah.
At least match him.
Yep.
You know, if he matches him, he's the GOAT.
He's got the Open Championship is a really good golf course for him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, whatever. If he
Yeah, no, he said he's playing in the Open for sure, and then he was up in there about the PGA Championship. You know, he said he was going to try to play in the PGA, but he's won there. Won there before, but he said for sure on the Open. When I think about golf, and I think about the Jack Nicklaus Tiger Woods story, it's kind of like the Michael Jordan LeBron James, you know, kind of thing. You know, football is solidified. There is one greatest of all time. You know, and there's without a doubt, and that's without a doubt.
Yeah,
you know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, and then you got basketball. It's like, well, LeBron statistically better than Jordan.
Yeah,
you know,
championships,
Jordan,
MVPs, and all that stuff. It's Jordan.
You know, how many trips that Michael went to the finals 6 times and won all 6.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that's what's going to happen here, and what is happening, and what has been happening is this talk of who's the greatest of all time. You know, statistically, Tiger Woods is the greatest of all time, in my opinion, hands down. There's nobody that's done it better.
Nope.
But
a lot of people will argue.
A lot of people will argue because Nicklaus has 18 majors,
Yep.
and Tiger has 15.
Yep.
You know,
I don't know, the wins and the margin of victories. Just the world number one for some astronomical figure. I don't even remember what it was, but it'll never be beat ever again.
Right.
No chance.
So right. I really hope it happens so we can just kind of just put the door on it like we have with football on who's
the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't there's no baseball. It's hard. Baseball, that's a hard sport to say is the greatest of all time in the entire sport because of all the positions and stuff.
Yep.
But golf, I think, is solidified by stats more than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think about the numbers that they put in on
Well, and I know
golf and stuff.
You know, and obviously Jack was good for the game, but in no comparison to what Tiger has done for golf.
No.
Not even on the same planet.
No.
So, you know, you probably have to put that influence in there as a part of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know.
And if that makes us lose a few old time followers,
yeah,
that is what it is. But Tiger's the GOAT, and there's no more in my opinion. Tiger,
yeah,
he's got to be the GOAT. Now, the other thing you have to think about is the scandal of Tiger.
Yeah.
Well, think about our day and age. Everything's at your fingertips.
I know.
Who knows what those? I mean, those old timers were just as scandalous. They just didn't have as many cameras, and they didn't have all that stuff in the locker rooms and those things that they have nowadays. You know? So who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's too bad.
I think you got to throw that stuff out.
It sure would have been nice to see how he would have prevailed without all that stuff. Injuries, scandal, injuries. Just compounding things.
Injuries, scandal, injuries, more injuries.
Yeah.
It's hard not to get injured when you swing that hard, though, for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, trust me, I know.
They had been talking about, people were telling them 10, 15 years ago, they're like, you can't swing that hard forever.
I know.
You better figure it out, otherwise you're going to have injuries. And here you go, lo and behold, you got injuries. How do you think he did, other than the technical part of actually hitting the shots, putting the putts? Another thing about golf is course management. How do you think he managed?
Well, he managed Augusta like he always does.
Yeah.
He just couldn't execute a few shots. I mean, the first couple rounds, he missed a few putts and he missed a few chips. Really easy chips, too. Like, he even admitted saying, hey, I just lost focus. These are easy chips. These are ones I usually get up and in. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
But like you said, the third and fourth round probably started to be a physical test, which takes away his mental capacity to play the golf course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had to fight that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the mentality was there until the physical started overpowering it. Mm-hmm. That's where you try to have that balance. But, I mean, all the things at the guys' disposals that are on tour to prevent from injury that, an amateur doesn't have. And they're still get that injured.
Well,
it's a testament to how physically demanding golf is.
Look at Bryson.
Right.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Why he overhauled his swing to, have the ball speed at 150 or whatever the hell it is. Like, that's just...
It's like 150 with his pitching wedge, but...
Or no, I mean, no, club head speed.
Club speed,
Sorry, yeah. It's just, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because... At that
it's
level,
not producing.
It's not producing.
Not producing the things that he thought it would.
No. He was winning a little bit last year?
Yeah.
But you could see he could easily put up big numbers. Because when you start putting the ball in...
That's why long drive guys do not do well on tour. They just never had. Jason Sedlowski didn't do good on tour.
No.
That one kid coming up, he's trying to play on tour. His short game is awful. When you swing that hard... When you get past that precipice of 120 and you go upwards of that, how do you expect to have the hands to hit shorter shots? So that's something that people have to keep conscious of.
Yeah, I don't know. Bryson drives me so insane.
He's got his own methods, and it's all about statistics.
But he's injured.
Yeah.
Or he's just coming off injury, and obviously he's still injured or hasn't recovered because he was spraying the ball all over the place, and I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but it looked like Sandy Lyle beat him, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, right?
65, 70-year-old beat.
Hits at 240.
230. Yep.
Yeah.
Beat Bryson.
Yeah.
So perfect.
There you go. What is going to be the turning point where he goes, I'm done doing this?
This probably leads us right into those two and their styles and how this transitions to our topic here of course management.
Right.
Bryson can't control his course management because he's trying to hit it 400 yards. And if it's offline just a little bit, when it's going that far, it's in the shit.
Yeah.
Like Sandy Lyle hits it 240 straight, then he hits it 220 straight, and he's still up to the green. You know, like, yeah, it's a long shot for him, but the worst he's going to make is a bogey-ish.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. I just, that's where amateurs struggle, is that
they try to be Bryson.
They think that no matter what, they have to hit the driver as far down there as they possibly can, because that's their best chance at making a low number.
Right.
Which is fucking totally false. Like, I know someone, you know, I put a thing out there about course management and how much is it worth to someone to pay to have someone teach them like how to play a golf course.
Yeah.
And they put this statistic up there that, you know, statistically it's better to hit driver as far as you can down there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, who is these numbers come from? Tour guys? Okay, yeah, probably.
Right.
Right? But the average golfer, when you start slicing driver and hitting it into the woods, OB, water, whatever, and start taking all these penalties, that's not going to do you any good. You could, a 375-yard par 4, there's shit left, shit right, and you pull out driver, and you hit it in the OB, and you re-tee or take a lateral, you get to lose a penalty stroke. Why don't you just hit a 7-iron? You know you're going to hit it straight, and people are like, well, I can hit a 7-iron just as I can a driver. But I'm not even talking about someone who can't hit the ball. Right. I'm even talking about an 8, 9, 10 handicap that has a miss every 3, 4 swings. That's going to put that ball out of position.
Yep.
Like, you have to like observe everything that's going around in that hole.
And at the end of the day, a lot of statistics are based on a commercial mindset, right? Hit driver. You need a new driver. You need a better driver. You need a faster driver. You need a driver so you can hit it farther. Buy this driver. You know, it's not. Listen, tour guys, let me tell you something. Amateurs out there, because this is the truth. Tour guys can spray it. They have people that are there looking for their balls. And guess what? They're a lot better with their irons than you fucking are.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day.
Yep.
So they spray it. They got something that goes and finds their ball for them, right? If the lie is not pristine, they know how to play out of that. Most amateurs aren't going to courses that have 4-inch to 5-inch rough. You know what I mean?
Not even just the rough, but like if you hit it behind some trees, etc. They know how to punch it out or get it out to the fairway so they can try to make a par.
They know how to hit 30 to 40 yard curve on their ball from a short distance away.
That too. And they don't, if they're like, oh shit, my ball got in the woods, so I still got 180 out. Well, some guy who's a 10, 12 handicap, need to get it 180, he's got to hit it like a 4 hybrid or a 3-iron or something, or 4-iron or something. Right. Well, when you got trees and you could compound your mistakes, like you don't just take the club that's going to get you furthest down there closer to the green.
Right.
In all instances, and I see it so often.
Well, they call it take your medicine. The medicine is bitter. It's hard to take. But you watch these guys that are getting in trouble. What do? I mean, are they going for the green every time? Only if they have an opening.
Yeah.
Are they doing it? And guess what? They can execute it.
Or they'll hit it to the front left or
get
wherever
up and down.
They get a hit away from trouble and not compound your mistakes.
Right.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Not on purpose though. Like,
because everybody knows that that medicine's good for you.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean you want to take it.
You just
you remember Dimetap?
Yeah. Gross.
That was actually, I would have taken Dimetap over like NyQuil any day because it had like a sweet taste. It was like candy. Like, give me the dime.
So getting out of position is I guess the pretext to this is that once you're out of position, how do I get back in position? And that's where people struggle with, just going to grab another 3-wood and try and get it out as far down as I can. And I hit a tree and it bounced back 80 yards and it's further into the shit.
Yeah, especially you get. Like, I see some guys. So there's you're on a par 5 and on course I play at TPC. It's number 12, and a lot of times guys listen. The miss is left. Guys will go left in this little tree area, and then they're grabbing a wood and they're trying to hit it through a gap that's like this. You know what I mean? And it's like 12. It's a par 5. But it's tree line, and it's 11 comes back this way, and then you go back 12 this way, and it's all trees in the middle. And guys will hook it left because where you want to hit it from, if the upper tees, is there's a tree that you want to hit it over the tree and it lands in the flat landing.
I know what hole that is.
Okay.
Yep.
So
kind of dog leg left.
Yeah. It doesn't really dog.
But it looks like it does.
Right.
Yep.
So you want to hit it over this tree so people will miss left. Well, then they go left. And they go, oh, yeah, I can hit it through this gap because I've seen it on TV. This is what they're thinking in their mind. They're like, I got this shot. You can't hit a wood off the tee straight. What do you think you're going to do when you're hitting a wood off of shitty grass and you're trying to get it through a gap that looks like this? It might be 15 feet, whatever, wide, whatever the case may be, because you need to punch it.
Take your... what do
you think you're going to have more accuracy with? You better get an iron in your hand, first of all, so you can actually get the ball out of the shit.
Yeah. Pitching wedge out to the fairway.
I see it a million times. People duff it. It hits a cart path. It rolls into the rough. And now, you're kind of just back where you started, except for you don't have to, hit it through the gap anymore. But now you still got to hit a low iron to try to get you in a position to try to make 5.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting it and then it just doesn't make any sense.
So someone commented on that and said, well, you
on
can't
what?
on my course management course
okay.
management post.
So you said that to just what would it cost you? What would you pay?
What would you pay to basically have a caddy?
Yeah.
But does a little bit more than that, points out some flaws, makes suggestions like a caddy would. Because like I said, I'd never had a caddy besides you guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And having caddies that play golf that are very good, and then they know the course is very, very important.
Correct.
Okay. And I think I've golfed with my friend Tim, who I don't know if you've met, but he's just a really high handicap. He took some golf tech lessons. He's trying to get better. I took him to I take him to an easier course, but I got him to break 90. And I am 100% convinced it was me, because the selections and the shit he was going to try and hit, I was like, give me that club. What are you even thinking?
Right.
Why are you trying to hit a hybrid down there? It's a par 5. You're in the trees. You're just going to hit another tree.
Right.
Hit a 4-iron or a 5-iron this way and get it down the fairway, and you'll still have 160 in, and you can try to get it up on the green, and you have a putt for birdie.
One of my favorite slogans that these
unbelievable.
One of my favorite slogans that these guys use is 90% air. They're 90% air. It's but that's some thick air.
Yeah.
And it's unpredictable.
Well, so
you're hitting a round ball into a cylinder. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unpredictable where that ball is going to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So this post was, I didn't think I'd get the negative feedback I did from some of the people. Obviously, they've had no, I guess, experience with coaching, or or they don't.
Were you cyberbullied?
I was cyberbullied, and I'm actually offended by it, because I don't know. I guess it blows my mind that these guys don't want to get better at a game.
Give me an example of what they said.
Oh, so the one guy was like, you can't play. You can't plot your way around the golf course or have course management if you don't hit the ball straight. I'm like, that is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
Have you ever seen a professional hit a straight ball?
Or if you don't know where it's going.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, so high handicap. But you can, because you can take the higher percentage shots and put them in their bag for them and take away that low percentage shot right out of their bag and throw it away.
Right.
That's what I was talking about.
Yep.
It's the higher percentage play versus the fucking hero shot that everyone wants to play. But it makes your scores higher, and B, it slows everybody the fuck down.
Yeah.
And people just were like geeking out about the comments, you know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, yeah, you find a club that for a higher handicap, you have to find your one club that, like people say a rescue club, for instance. Rescue club is usually in phrase with a hybrid.
Yeah.
You know, hybrid will be called a rescue, whatever the case may be. But that doesn't mean that that is what that's for everybody. Your rescue club is the club that you know that you make solid contact with every time. Mm-hmm. That, you know, if it's a pitching wedge, if it's your 7-iron is very, very common to be the easiest club to hit in the bag, is a 7-iron. Well, hit that.
Hit it. If it's a par 4, hit it 3 or hit it 2 times. Figure out where you're at, wedge it on.
If you're shooting 90s or you're even shooting 80s, you're not trying to make birdies.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. The course management part of it is that they want to be a hero for one hole so that they can feel miserable for the rest of the 17th.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You know,
Yeah.
they want to have their moment.
Everybody wants to make a birdie, but that's what par 3.
This is the other slogan.
Yeah.
That'll keep you coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, you know what else keep you coming back?
Is if you got better.
If you got better.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need that one hole because you're going to sit there and be like, in the good old days. And I'm a good old day kind of guy. I like thinking back to the good old days. But at the same time, I've gotten, as I grow older in the sport, not older in the sense of my age, but older in the sport, I'm becoming wiser to the fact that, listen, just avoid the big number.
Yep.
Because
however you can
avoid the big number. If you're looking at something and there's even an inkling in your mind that that's not going to go the way you want it to go, even that small fraction of an inkling, don't hit the shot.
Yep.
Because you need 100% commitment and focus to that shot and know that you can perform it.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you get 100% commitment and try to know that you can perform it and you don't perform it. Well, big deal. At least it's in a better spot than it would have been if you thought there's a chance that this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
You know, and I catch myself in that too. And like you said, it's hard. And like I said, yeah, because medicine's hard to fucking take sometimes, but it's good for you. You know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So people are chirping at you. So you were cyberbullied. And so did you?
I didn't say like, hey, you should pay me to come do it. What I was.
You were asking a question.
Like I was asking the question and then, hey, if someone wanted to play around with me, like what would that be worth for me to just like hit my shot and then like hyper focus on what they're doing.
Right.
So that I can walk them through the steps necessary to become a better like manager of the golf course.
Right.
And like think things through versus just fucking taking the biggest club in your bag and hitting it as far down there as possible, because that's not always the case.
Right.
And I wasn't talking about, the low handicaps, or I'm not talking about the guys that just want to get drunk on a golf cart and go fucking jump it off bunkers. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that actually want to game improve.
Right.
You know, like there's this guy that reached out to me last year to play a couple rounds, and I went out and played with him, and he's actively taking lessons, wants to get better, wants to watch lower handicaps play and see how I plot around the course. And I gave him some tips, and then he reached out to me this spring. Hey, I want to play with you again. Well, yeah, he went from like a 25 handicap to a 15 in a year.
Right.
You know, like people want to get better, and I don't think playing the game incorrectly is going to get you any better.
No.
And so if you want to be
At the end of the
stuck,
day, it's a game.
yeah,
You know,
if you want to be stuck, I told the one guy, it sucks to suck. I wasn't being a dick.
Right.
I was just like, and maybe he's a low handicap. I didn't care, but his post was, I'll give you $10 to leave me alone. And I'm like, well, I just put this out there because I like really truly just want people to get better at the game, and I'm going to make some suggestions based on personal experience.
How fucking self-centered is this dude? So he says, I'll give you $10 to leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like
on my post.
Like he's fucking Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
He's the, God's gift to earth. Mm-hmm. It's all about me. You made this post and it's about me.
Yeah. I think I responded with, with a mouth like that, it looks like you're, fitting to get a game.
Yeah.
Money bags. Let's go.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. You bring your low handicap buddies. So let's go have a
Holy
fucking match.
shit.
I don't know.
That drives me nuts when people, Chris D'Elia, he has a special called Man on Fire, and he talks about how people think that they're the leading man, that they're Denzel. It's like, no, you're probably the extra in the background with you. He's like, you with your fatty fat. He's talking about that. He's like, you're the guy that's sipping water in the back of somebody else's movie. You know what I mean? And to take it, I've had the urge to comment on things, but if I hear it in my brain and it's going to come off negative, I'm like, it's not worth the time, because this is not going to benefit me. Why would I post on it? Yeah. I'm going to comment on something that benefits me. If I have an inquiry, I have a question, something of that nature, or if I have a funny gift, because I'm a gift champion. There is no doubt about it. Okay.
It's very hard. It's very hard to not
just go off. Yeah.
Like, it's usually politically correct, but these guys are just like put some, what do you call it? A meme or Giphy or whatever. Like, that's not you, dude. Like I was like inquiring for people to call me and pay me $50 or $100 to walk the course with them. But it's worth something. Yeah. And I'd be willing to do it.
Right.
So what was the dollar amount? What would you be willing to do? A beer? 2 beers? Like, what do you want me to, what kind of advice do you want me to do? What's it worth to your game?
Well, and that's something too, is that I don't think you're in the wrong for asking that, even if you were saying I'll be of service. Because the problem with people nowadays, and I'm going to go on a tangent, is that we forget or we misconstrue what somebody's free time is and what their availability is.
Yep.
That is my biggest fucking pet peeve. Do not misconstrue my free time with my availability. My time is worth something.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. There's a value to that. And whether it's monetary, whether it's trading or bartering, whatever the case may be, it's worth something.
Yeah.
I'm not coming out there giving you these tips unless I like you, unless I really like you.
Yeah.
But I'm all friended up. You know what I mean? Like,
no, and I'm ultimately, I told Mitch, I said, I golf with higher handicaps. They're my friends. Like, I want to see them get better.
Right.
If they're out buying new clubs, paying for lessons, there is also another avenue to make them better, which is course fucking management.
Yeah, an experience.
An experience.
Correct.
And learning how to play the course.
I'm not one. People ask me all the time, like, what am I doing wrong with my swing? I'm like, I'm not licensed for that.
I couldn't tell.
I can't tell you what's wrong with my swing, first of all. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you what you're hitting is not right.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't like to give, like, I'll go golfing sometimes, and I hate when people are giving unsolicited advice. If you ask me to give you some advice, I will give you some advice. But I'm not going to sit on that tee box and watch you duff balls all day and tell you why you're duffing balls.
Right.
I don't
do
that. I don't do
I see something
unsolicited.
super simple, even if it's a stranger, like if I get paired up with someone or whatever, or like some of these guys that reach out that want to play golf and they're higher handicaps, and I know that the advice I give them is going to make a difference. Like, oh, I'm setting up with driver too steep, and I'm coming into the ball too steep. I'm like, just get a little shoulder tilt. Try it once, see what happens.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that ball went straight. I didn't top it. What? Yeah. That was unsolicited advice, but I'm going to make it so you can hit the ball better. I can do
and I guess it helps the whole
like
group
that.
too, in particular, because if you can at least improve one club in a guy's bag who's 100%. Having a terrible time, you're going to pick up at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Of
man,
time.
like if it's a simple fix, or like I'll even be golfing with Trevor or you or whatever, and like if I'm lined up wrong, that's a simple fix, and it really screws us up because we can double cross and do all these things.
Well, the thing about us, we ask.
I want to know, like, hey, my alignment's fucked. Oh, good. Tell me. Thank you. That's why.
But we also, we ask, and we know each other too at the same time. But I do a lot of golfing with clients, and I've learned the most patience doing that.
Yeah.
I think as well as if you are a high handicap, do not be afraid to go out and play with lower handicaps.
No.
Unless they're dicks. I've met some dicks. Yeah. Okay. I get that all the time. That because I play this game, I'm good at this game. Yeah, I played a lot, and people are intimidated. I could call it an intimidation. They're like, "Oh, I don't know if we should play golf, together because you might not be my friend or whatever." And I say the same thing. I'm like, dude,
we're good. We're really good golfers.
Yeah,
but we're not even in the fucking stratosphere of some of these amateurs that are in this state.
I understand.
So there's no reason for anybody to ever be nervous or scared to play with us. There just should be
no reason to be nervous anyway.
No.
I mean, we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not, but like I said, there are guys out there. And I think a lot of times when you get those comments, it's because they've been shell shocked at a public course, and public courses are, it's hard to go back to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just get like paired up. Yeah. But you get paired up with some guys sometimes, and it's a rough.
I usually play my best when I get paired up with someone that's a total hack, and I just go out there and I just give them a show.
Yeah, I've seen it. So I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this. This is probably one of my greatest stories of shit talking, or just like, you know what I mean? Like just somebody who rubs you the wrong way. So I can putt with my 60 degree.
Yep.
And I only show people I like. It's like my rule. I always keep it in the bag. If I'm not sure about you, I don't pull it out. Okay. Because I can always use it later on down the road. So I had this guy, he was a member, and member guest was coming up. So he had his guest come out, and never met this guest before in my life. And right off pretty much the bat, I'd say hole 4 or 5, he starts chirping. Like would get a par and be like, "Yeah, you like that?" We were playing just a very, very kind game. Like it was like a buck of skin, that sort of thing. 10, 10, and 10, whatever the case may be. Very, very, very calm. So eventually it's getting under my skin. And I'm going, enough of this shit. Okay, enough of this. We're getting to the back 9. I'm like, "Hey man," and I'm really good at like not showing outwardly how I feel, but on the inside I'm like, "Oh, you son of a bitch," And so I was like, "Hey man, how about we make the back 9 pretty interesting? Just me and you. I'll tell you what, let's go $100. I'll putt with my 60 degree the whole time." And I think on the front, it was one of those days where when I'm just playing casually, I shoot 42.
Yep.
When I'm playing with people, 42 on the front, and then I'll come back with maybe 37, 38 on the back, casually. With this, it was a vendetta. I had a complete rage for this guy by the time we got to the back 9. But like I said, I don't show things outwardly, so he had no idea. The guy's also never seen me putt with my 60 degree. So even though I'm a lower handicap, he was on his high horse, and I said, "I'll putt with my 60 degree the whole back 9. On 14 and 15 and 16, 3 holes to shut him out, I made 20 or more feet, 20 plus footers for birdie on 14, 15, and 16 with my 60 degree.
Good. I hope you shut him up.
And he tried to leave without paying me. And the member that he was with was like, pay the man.
Yeah, that's great.
I've never seen him since then. I have not seen him since, but I hope he learned a valuable lesson. And the lesson is this: if you're playing a casual game, what are you doing chirping like that? In front of, like, what kind of person does that, first of all?
Yeah.
Secondly, golf is an etiquette sport. Now, was it very ethically correct of me to kick his ass with my 60 degree when I knew I could putt with it just as good as I can putt with my putter? Probably not. But he pissed me off. Yeah. So it was getting done. Like, it had to happen. And I hope he learned a valuable lesson from that experience. But I've also been put in my place. When I first started early on too, the way I learned more and more about etiquette is by fucking up etiquette. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, that's just how I learned.
Yep.
And it takes guys sometimes to put you in your place
for sure.
Starting out.
Oh, gosh. I mean, I remember when I first started trying to play amateur tournaments and, walking behind someone when they're setting up to hit a shot, or like putting and you're too close or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you get chirped at. Like, what do you get out of here?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Jesus. And now I'm kind of that guy.
Kind of.
Like, but it's you got to tell someone so that they learn.
If you were a horse, they would have to have blinders on you at all times. Like sometimes they put blinders on the horses when they're just going to race. For you, your peripheral range is like the largest I've ever seen.
No, so
can you fucking move real quick? Right, you right there. I know you're 12 years old, but fucking move.
No, it's not that bad.
No, I'm kidding. I got to give you shit every now and then. I only see you once a week.
So the whole purpose or the why that post even came about was, I know I've helped people play better.
Yeah.
Just by bouncing the ball around the course.
Have you ever helped
the right
people
way.
play worse?
No.
All right. Well, percentage is high then.
I teach my daughter, when we're out there, she only gets better when she plays with me.
Yeah.
When she doesn't come play with me and doesn't practice, she doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
But the reason why this post came up was I played my first round the other day at a shitty golf course or not as good as what, these other guys were like, well, it's Emerald Greens.
Yeah.
It's like the only course that's open. Like, and
Emerald Greens is not a bad track to practice at.
A, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. B, it played from the silver on the back tees.
Yeah.
That's no free lunch.
No.
Like, it's 7,150 yards. Like, it's long.
And on that side, they have that 600-yard par 5, right? Yeah.
Yep. That was downwind, thankfully.
Oh, good.
But the other par 5s were all into the wind.
Yeah.
So we had a threesome. This kid, he's jumped out because he didn't want to keep playing. So me and this stranger. Now, first round out, second hole, this guy shanks his wedge into my arm.
Do you have a bruise?
I don't know. I went down like a ton of bricks.
Oh.
But so it was not a big deal. Like, he shanked it. He's,
You can't say that right after you said I went down like a ton of bricks and then be like, it wasn't a big deal.
I mean, it was just like, it hit me in like the fatty part of my arm. If it would have hit my elbow,
well,
then
that could have hit you anywhere. What are you talking about?
It hit right here.
Oh.
Boy. It hit right here. So
Okay.
I was just like, it stung me, and then I went down and I was like, oh, well, fuck it, whatever.
Did you milk it? We're like,
no, I got up and I got up and down for par. Like, no,
like the witch from the Wizard of
I
Oz.
just said, you got a little hiccup here. This guy, it was his first round out. He shanked his wedge.
Don't use the S word.
Shanked.
Hoselled,
whatever.
Yes.
He shank hoselled it.
We may swear on this podcast, but that's the worst swear word of all.
So anyways, we lost this kid and we were playing. It finally opened up and pace of play was just fine.
Yeah.
Caught this group because their other group went to the clubhouse or went to the wrong tee box. So they were sitting there, these two, and we'd watched them a little bit and they're not very good, but they're having a good time.
Right.
I get up there at back tee with my 4 hybrid. It's a 400-yard par 4. Downwind.
Okay.
There's trees left, really dense pines with not a lot of options if you go in them.
Yep.
At about 275-ish.
Okay.
Right?
So pretty close.
OB right.
Got it.
If you miss
What
a
hole is
little
that?
right, it's 10.
10. Yep.
Yep. You know what I'm talking
Yep,
about.
yep, yep.
That garden.
Oh,
to
yeah, for
the
sure.
farmer's garden up there
For
on the
sure.
right.
Yep.
So I don't hit driver because I'm like, if I hit this thing not in a 30-yard fairway, I could be in trouble because I normally am. If I hit 2 hybrid or my 3-wood, I'm in those trees.
Yeah.
If I
Especially
pull
at this point, you're on hole 10, so you've kind of seen how things are going.
Yeah, and I've been hitting my driver fine.
Yeah.
However, why would I put myself in a position to even be at the 100-yard marker when it's only 30 yards wide? I can be in a bunker, out of bounds, or in the trees. When I can hit hybrid to the 150 and still make a fucking birdie, which I did.
Yeah.
But these guys were like, no driver? And I was like, no, because it takes out all of the trouble
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
I don't hit it perfect every time, nor do tour players.
Right.
And if I take out all the trouble, that is a much better percentage for me to make a par or better.
Yeah.
Right? And so
if you're 180 or in
the fairway.
Yeah, in the fairway, is better. And I'm learning that. I mean, I'm good at short yardage though. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's different when I go and play and I have room to work with. I don't care if I'm in the rough, but if I'm 40 yards out, I still have a good chance to get up and down just because I'm used to those short yardages.
Yeah.
My short game is very good. Now, most amateurs who are 10s or higher, that range sucks
Yep.
because they're not used to that.
No.
So when you go that route, if you are 150 or in and you are in shorter grass, especially downwind,
Yeah.
you want to be further away when it's downwind because it's a lot easier hitting a 120-yard shot and hitting your 100 club than it is to hit a 50-yard shot and don't know how
It's going to
chip
react,
it.
especially
Correct.
if it's in the rough at 50 yards downwind.
Absolutely. How is it going to come out as a flyer? How high do I have to get it? You know, all those different things that you have to take in consideration where you could do a lot. You could do a lot less thinking and just get yourself in a safer spot.
I had 156 to the flag. I hit a little choke 9-iron and it was pin high, 10 feet.
Right.
Knocked it in. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
Like that's just
it's like
how you
think about par threes.
Yeah.
You know, you're licking your chops when you get a par three that's 150 yards.
Yeah.
Why aren't you trying to get to 150 yards
Every time.
all the time?
Every single time. And that's where like the caddying part comes in. You know, I know Al hopefully will listen to this, but I would get mildly upset with him because he would try to blast the ball down there and have a 60-yard shot.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, like you hit your 9-iron 170 yards. Like anything 170 in is perfect.
They put a stake in the middle of the fairway to show you where the 150-yard marker is.
And it became like super clear when I caddied for him after he turned pro to really manage the goddamn golf course. When we went to the pre-qualifier for the 3M and he qualified for the Monday qualifier, we played with a guy, Brian Gay or Brian, not Brian Gay. Gosh, what was his name? Anyways, he's from Texas.
Let's call him Brian.
Let's call him Brian.
Okay.
Well, he qualified on the Monday qualifier. Alex didn't, but I watched him for those the one round we played with them, and he was hitting irons off of par fives to keep himself in play.
Right.
Because he knew if he's in fairways and he's got a wedge in his hand, no matter what, he's going to make birdies.
Right.
Put yourself in play.
Right.
No matter what. Don't take penalty strokes. If you go for shots that you just are not high percentage, don't do it. Ever. And your scores will dramatically change.
Correct.
I don't know. People
There's a certain point, like I'm at the point right now where my skill level has plateaued as, you know, how far I can hit the ball, where I hit the ball. And now the only thing that is going to get me lower is good decisions.
100%.
Because I'm already when you're a scratch golfer, the only thing that gets you any lower than that
Draining
is
putts.
decisions.
Yep, and draining putts.
I'd have no problem draining putts. I have a problem with decisions.
Yeah, it's all decisions.
I make poor decisions
Yep.
many times.
Yep.
And while I don't avoid the big number, I do avoid the big number nowadays. That's like my number one rule. I don't make a lot of doubles,
Yeah.
but I can make a lot of bogeys. And if I'm not making a lot of birdies, it doesn't match up.
So, but let's tell everyone what club in your bag causes you the most strokes, penalty strokes, or strokes in general. That shouldn't really be a hard answer.
Probably my driver.
Yeah. It is for me.
Yeah.
And it is for every goddamn other amateur too.
Yeah.
Like, so if you can eliminate that extra stroke or
Right.
two, don't hit it.
Yeah.
If the hole is 375, 380 yards, because typically they play from the whites.
But it's not the club. Let's put it this way. The club isn't the reason why the strokes are happening. It's because I decide to pull the club.
Correct.
When I shouldn't.
Correct.
I don't hit bad drives, right? But I hit drives that are bad, if that makes sense. Like if I'm looking at, like this is something I changed playing TBC. Okay, the third hole there is a par 5. The pros play it at the 3M Open as a par 4. Okay, but they bump them up a little bit. I stopped hitting driver there. I started hitting 3-wood because 3-wood, if I hit it straight, I was in between the two bunkers. If I hit a little left, I'm in the rough, but I'm still in play. And if I hit a little right, I'm just in the waist area but I get past that bunker on the right. If I would hit driver, I would only get maybe 20 yards closer, which the difference is, okay, if I hit my 3-wood, I have a 210-yard shot. If I hit my driver, I may have a 190-yard shot. But the times that I hit driver there and that I've gone either OB, right, which I stopped, that was no longer an issue. Then it was my miss was left. And I can hit it over those bunkers, cart path, straight downhill water.
Yeah, bad.
Just stopped hitting it. I just started hitting 3-wood there.
Yeah, because you take that trouble out of play.
And I have birdied that hole more times than I've parred it, and I've eagled it more times last year than I ever did.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yep.
And I'm not hitting that big, you know what I mean? So it's those things like when you say what's the club that causes the most angst in amateur's bag? It's outside of the bag.
Correct.
It's not the club. It's your decision to pull that club. Yeah. That's the problem.
100%. And that's what my post was all about. You need someone outside of your brain helping you select that fucking club.
Because in your mind, when you have thoughts like that, it sounds a lot like you.
What?
You know, when you have thoughts about doing things, right? Let's say you're thinking about what you're going to do with the shot. Bad decisions sound just as good as good decisions because they all sound like you. It's your own self giving yourself advice. Yep. So when you have an outsider come in and be like, listen, that's really fucking stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That helps a little bit better than saying, you know, being in your own head.
Yeah.
You know, that's why pros have caddies. Otherwise they'd all be pushing their own, because even them.
Yeah. They need to be talked off
too
shots.
big. Yeah. Too big for their britches.
100%.
You want to get better, and you're just watching this podcast or listening to this podcast. Well, you're watching it right now. We're still on YouTube. And you want to get even a little better. Just YouTube caddy and golfer conversations.
Yeah.
Listen to what they're talking about.
Yep.
You know?
And and the one guy was like, well, if I want to get better in course management, I'll watch all these videos and stuff. Well, you still got to take it to the goddamn course.
Right.
You know, like they're not talking about the course you're playing. They're not talking about Valleywood. They're not talking about Southern Hills. They're not talking about TPC. They're not talking about Loggers Trail, whatever. Like they're not specific.
Because everybody knows how
to
hit the shots before you get to the course and you're over the ball.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, take your medicine, keep your head down.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows these things.
Yeah. But they don't.
But that's different when you're standing over the ball and you have to tell yourself, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Step away, make a better choice.
Yeah.
That's way different.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight is 20/20. You know, you go out there and you think before you get to the course, you've already hit all your shots for the day.
Yeah. They just, you know, feel like they can execute a shot that isn't there. And it's always nice to have someone tell you like the reality.
Yeah.
Like, okay, your miss is right. So why are you going at the flag? There is no room right of the flag. You have to aim to the left side of the green where there's no bunker and there's all the green in the world. If you push it a little bit, or if you do hit a big fade, it's in the middle of the green.
Right.
If you pull it, it's on the left side of the green.
Right.
Like,
and if it goes straight,
and if it goes
still on
and
the
if
left
it goes
side of the
even
green.
further left and you're in the rough, you've got all that green to
work
just
with.
hit a pitching wedge on the green and let it roll as far as it needs to get close to the hole, or maybe it's even 10 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet. But at least you're on the putting surface. If you're down off the right side where there's a hill and there's no room and you got to try and hit a lofted club as a 10, 12, 15 handicap, well, guess what? That just makes the shot a hell of a lot harder because you're trying to get it close, which isn't possible for someone at that level.
Yeah.
And then you got to try and get it onto the green, and you're never going to be 10, 15 feet away from the other side, like you would be from the other side. And that's just like, I don't know. I just see it so often. It's just
it's
so
incredibly. I see it in myself, man.
Yeah.
You know, as far as seeing it out there in your own head, you're like, God, why did I do that?
No,
I've gone right at right pins before, knowing damn well that I hit a cut better than I hit a draw.
Yep. And so my suggestion to Al was middle out. Like,
Yeah.
how you're hitting it today, you're hitting a little baby cut. Okay, middle out. Like, and if you're, if the pin's on the left side, go at the pin if you're hitting a cut. If it goes to the middle, well, guess what? You got a 20-footer.
Right.
25-footer. Who cares? You're a great putter. A couple of those are going to go in. You're on the dance floor. You don't have any trouble. Like, just pick your spots.
Yep.
Pick
your spots and make a stroke. And
Yeah. But coming from us, we do strike the ball fairly well. So for those higher handicaps that don't make consistent contact, you just have to figure out like what your misses are. Like, do you top it? Do you shank it? Like, what are your misses? So
if you swear one more time on this fucking podcast.
Okay, so I'm going to hit a hosel.
Thank you.
Or I always hit a high and right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well then you're gonna have to aim your hips, feet, and shoulders down the left side and try to get it to the middle of the fairway.
You play for the miss. You don't play for the possibility.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I'm hitting a fade that day with driver, guess what? I'm going to hit the fade all goddamn day down the left side. And if I pull one and it draws into the next fairway, well, that's 1 out of 8.
Right.
And I'm in trouble.
But don't hit 2 bad shots in a row.
Yeah.
Bad shots are going to happen. As long as you can not hit 2 bad shots in a row. Here are the tips for the day.
Yeah.
Don't hit 2 bad shots in a row.
Yep.
Play for the miss, not for the possibility. And don't be a little bitch online.
Yeah. Don't be a bitch. Don't argue with me.
Don't fucking be a cyberbully, because we will tear you apart on this podcast.
No, and I don't think anybody meant to be too much of an ass, but I just think that if you honestly think that you're above any sort of coaching or your ability level, well then why weren't you at the Masters, bro?
Right.
I mean,
here's the bottom line is that in many things in life can be put in perspective. Yeah. And we'll put in perspective of golf here. There are many pillars that hold us up in every activity of life that we do. Okay. Now, like on the golf course, we're not saying that this one pillar is going to make or break. That's what people are always looking for. The one pillar that's strong enough to hold the entire game up, to hold their entire life up, that one pillar.
Yeah.
But if you take multiple, even if they're smaller pillars, and you put them together, if one of those pillars goes away, you still have a plethora of more pillars holding it up.
Yeah.
If you focus your game or life on one thing and that pillar does fail, what's holding you up?
Exactly.
Nothing.
Yep.
So what we're talking about and what we talk about in this podcast, it's not Bible. It's not, you should just do this. Course management is the only way to get better. We're not saying that. It's one of the pillars.
Yeah. Coaches and instructors offer this service. It's just very expensive.
Correct.
And so I was like, well, if I'm out playing anyways, and I usually play with strangers and I just hop into groups and do this or that on the public, country club membership that I have, I thought, well, I would definitely ride along or walk with someone who wants to get better. And I got just jumped for it.
Well, don't stop being you because of one cyberbully, buddy.
Right.
We'll be here for you.
Yeah.
We're one of your pillars to hold you up. So with all that being said, get multiple pillars.
Yeah.
Of course. And what you were saying is that, if you go and get lessons from a golf pro and you get a package, right? Let's say you get 10 lessons.
Yep.
A third of those lessons are going to be course management.
Yeah.
They're going to take you on the course and see how you play. Because the point of the fact of the matter is first of all, they're trying to get the ball airborne if you're first starting, right? If you're in the middle of the handicap, they're trying to get you to strike the ball better. Once you've gotten to a scratch and you're striking the ball good, you have your game's pretty tuned up, the only place to go is course management. I mean, what else? Is there? You're going to continue to practice. You're going to continue to play anyway. Now let's make smarter decisions.
Yeah.
Let's
not compound those.
Don't compound issues. So
let's well, as we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about the potential of a couple of our events, Miller and Dricksy events.
Speaking of course management, so that you don't get your ass kicked. So what we're trying to do is create more, I'd say, variability, right?
I don't know.
Is that what the word is? When
Variety?
something is different. Variety. Variability and variety, very similar. One's not a real word, and one is.
We'll just make shit up.
So, I think it's, like I said, it's not that we're trying to go out there and do it better and be the best and do the best. It's just more events for amateurs to come out, have a good time, and play some golf and win some side money if you want to. So, obviously, our golf outing, how are we doing with that? We're full, or?
We lost a few, but I added a few back, and now we're at 28 out of 32. So we're
well on. More guys.
We need 4 more guys.
Yeah.
To go to Giants Ridge the third weekend in August.
Giants Ridge. If you'd like to be a part of, we're pretty much going to start calling it the Miller and Dricksy's golf outing. I think eventually we'll have to do it.
Annual golf
the annual golf outing. Giants Ridge this year. We're gonna we'll switch it up every year, I'm guessing.
Yep.
But we do need 4 more guys. So if you do want to play in that and you are available the third week in August. Third weekend in August, please message us and let us know. We can get you the information to put on your down payment and get a part of that. Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun, Ryder Cup style. It's just going to be a hoot and a holler. And then going forward, obviously we are going to have partnerships. Having Jeremy on last week. Obviously, we'll be out at events like that and such to show our support for that cause. But our own, as those are fundraisers, we want to put on our own tournaments as well. So if you have any, ideas of courses that you would like to play, things of that nature.
Any contacts
to courses so we can start setting that up. Those would be greatly appreciated. As much as we know about this industry and the much people that we know in this industry, it takes an army sometimes to get things off the ground. So we would appreciate every bit of that. Speaking of Army to get us off the ground, I want to say thank you so much for the people who have been consistent with us through these last 4 weeks and now week 5 of Miller and Dricksy's. We're having just a great time here, and we're having a lot of great feedback, positive criticism as well. Yep. So I really do appreciate that.
And my God, is Mother Nature going to let us actually go play this fucking game?
I know. I got to hit for 20 minutes yesterday before it rained on me.
I played that first round. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is get back out there and
keep
play.
Playing. Yeah.
And it's like 5th winter out there.
I know. I hit balls yesterday, and I was hitting it really good. I'm like, all I want to do is just go out there and play around and see what
I know.
What we call now, this is the year of sober Keith. So I want to see what sober Keith can do. But
it's good.
So going back, thank you guys so much for following. Please, if you like our content, follow, share with your friends, let them know where they can find us, and come check us out. This is Miller and Dricksy's pod, baby. And with that, I think we're done for this week. We will see you next week for number 6, baby. Bye.
Well, I'ma need a how you feeling.